I want you to leave a comment below. Tell me, and it doesn't have to be perfect, just while you're watching this video, a quick guess off the top of your head, how many hours a day or minutes a day do you spend on your homestead chores? Go ahead, leave the comment, I'll wait. Now this will definitely be different every day. The days that you do just your basic chores like feeding the chickens or the pigs, that's usually quicker than maybe say a cleaning day if you're gonna go clean some stalls. So average it out over the week. If you spend every day 20 minutes in the morning and the evening, and then on Saturday you do a whole hour in the barn, kind of average that out and put that number down in the comments section below. Now save that number to the end of the video, because what me and accountant Mike did was kind of lay out a basic way that you could put a $1 per hour figure to the work you do on your homestead, and that way you know how much cost you have in labor and time with your hobby or your homestead small business. Whether it's a business or it's just a hobby, you'll be able to know how much it costs. This is important, and we talk about it in this video.
You should, before you start your very first enterprise, know exactly what these costs are and build that into your cost structure from the beginning.
Great point, and probably something people forget to do. They think, oh, I'm going to raise this pig, and then they find out from the butcher it's going to be 500 bucks.
Whoops.
And then they take that pig down to auction, and they have to sell it pennies to the dollar because they weren't ready to handle the cost of it. I've heard stories like that. So
and then Austin buys it and flips it.
Flip this pig.
Flipping pigs. You can get into that.
Next Homesteady shirt. Flip this pig.
Right.
This one is, I have it separated from all these kind of costs because I think a lot of homesteaders don't factor it in. But anybody running a business would. Time and labor. It's not, you know, it's not your feed bill, it's not your butcher, but all of these things do take time. So how do you factor that in?
Time, labor.
It's something you enjoy doing, right?
Sure.
You would rather spend your day, hopefully you would rather spend your day, it's something you enjoy doing, that's why you're doing it.
Yep.
So how do you, what's a reasonable way do you factor in your time and labor into your cost?
I think if we're talking about this sort of homestead scenario, right? Realistically, like if you were to pay someone to do this for you, what would that cost? Now, I'm not saying you automatically need to build that into your cost structure, but I think you should have that figure in mind when you're working to determine your pricing. Because part of why we're going through this whole exercise is to determine what your pricing needs to be in order to be profitable.
Now,
so
something I did want to focus in today's episode, not just on people running a business, right?
Sure.
So you could say, hey, this is my hobby. I don't have to factor this in. But if you want to run a profitable homestead, having an idea, like what you said, what it would cost to hire someone. Let's say everything's going good, and then you break your leg, and you do need to hire a farmhand for a week or two to just help cover the cost, right? What would you spend? You're not going to spend, you know, top dollar. You could probably find a farmhand for, you know, startup labor job kind of pricing, but just put that figure out there. Get an idea of what kind of time you're spending doing it, and have that number just to refer to, because it's really hard to say that your raised bed that, you know, maybe you spend $10 in seed and you get $100 of produce. It's hard to say that that was actually worth the $90 if every day you spent, you know, 2 hours for an entire season managing that. Now, if you enjoy that time, great. That's awesome. Enjoy that time. But if you want to run a profitable homestead, factor that in.
Yeah.
Because of the next point on number 6, which, you know, you could combine with time and labor. It's a little bit separate. If you spend that time in your garden 2 hours a day, what are you not doing? What's the sixth on the list?
So number 6, opportunity cost. So when we say opportunity cost, Austin's not making this up. This is actually an economic concept. It's got a real definition. Specifically, what we are talking about here, what is the one other thing that you are not doing because you're choosing to do the thing that you are? Now, this works both in concepts of actual dollars, right? And then also it works very well for time. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you run through this analysis and you decide, okay, I'm going to raise pigs. That's my enterprise. The opportunity cost of doing the pigs is you can't do the next best thing. Now, you're not going to say I can't do all of the other things because they're exclusive of each other. But you could be in a place where you say, I'm going to use this patch of land for pigs, which means I can't use that patch of land for chickens, which is the next best thing. Same thing with the time. I'm going to spend 2 hours a day working on my raised bed over there. That's 2 hours a day that I cannot spend on raising pigs, or that I cannot spend on learning on butchering my own product or something like that. We are talking about the cost of missing out on the next best thing here. That's your opportunity cost.
And that, I think, is one of the reasons why it is important to track the time and labor cost.
Yeah.
Because you might find, if you're paying attention to time and labor, I could raise I have one available paddock, right? I have this area it's fenced in. I could put a flock of chickens in it. And I track my time throughout this year, and I spend every day an hour on chickens. And then you could put the same paddock, 2 big old pigs, and you see 2 pigs. Wow, I actually spend only a half hour a day on 2 pigs. But profitability, we've been through the numbers. Pigs are more profitable than chickens for most of us. Maybe you got some good niche or something working for you, but for most of us, it's easier to make money on pigs. What should you use that paddock for? If you love chickens and you hate pigs, then you should, just enjoy your hobby. But if you're trying to run a profitable homestead, maybe it's time to say, well, you know what, we're going to just do pigs in this paddock. And we've done that over the years. We've tried a whole lot of different things. I always come back to pigs because I know I can spend the least amount of time needed to care for the most profitable animals. If I want to turn a profit on my homestead, I go with pigs. Now, right now, I have a homestead full of dairy animals. We got 2 dairy goats, we got 2 dairy cows, and I'm buying milk every week. So right now, we're not focused on maximum profitability. I have no pigs right now. I would love to have pigs, but we're focused on, the whole family and the things we all like to do. So Daddy's favorite will, gets bumped to the end because we're focused on dairy right now. But if we were focused on profitability, we'd have the pigs back because I'm those mortgage lifters. That interview with me and accountant Mike was part of a much larger interview that we did live with the Homesteady Pioneers. If you're not a Homesteady Pioneer and you haven't seen the whole interview, don't worry. Very soon there will be a podcast episode out from it. And if you can't wait and you just want to learn all about the costs and the profits, which we haven't yet covered on the channel, that you can find in a homestead, even if it's not a business, click here to become a Homesteady Pioneer. You gain access to that whole interview and the next one we're going to be having. And all the ones we're going to be having, you can actually join us live for, like you saw some people were joining us live in that chat box there. I almost forgot, if you're watching this video on the day it comes out, Tuesday, tonight we're having a Homesteady Pioneers live show. It's all about goats and running a business with goats. If you want to join us live for that, it's not too late. Click here to become a pioneer. You can join us for that live interview and you can watch the entire library of other Pioneers only exclusive content. Click there to become a pioneer.